What's up, stream? Today we're gonna do some melee set reviews. It's been a while, but should be fun. So yeah, enjoy the set reviews, and we'll take questions afterwards. Also, a good thing to know, we're gonna look at this from the Peach's perspective. So it should be my specialty, right? Should be my specialty. Yeah, I think too much of your game plan is chasing with aerials that you know simply can't win. In general, I would say game plan for this matchup. I wrote a guide for this quite many years ago, but I think it's still very true. So Marth is a lot faster than Peach, and he has more range as well. And his moves are still very, very fast. Like, this is kind of like a matchup where you have to accept the fact that Peach is slower. So for me, my game plan was always like a lot of turnips, stay grounded, keep Marth away with turnips, basically making him shield more and more. And what normally happens in those type of scenarios, let's say I throw a turnip. So let's say I'm Peach, I throw a turnip at Marth, he shields. Marths that try to go aggressive, they like tend to wave dash out of shield, and that's like a good time to like float forward and do nair. And the thing is, the turnip as well is still very important here. Because if you throw a turnip and it bounces on the shield, the hitbox will still be there. So you can like nair or backer into the turnip and then do another nair or backer. It can also be a pretty frustrating playstyle to play against sometimes. So sometimes like Marths might lose patience. You gotta remember your spacing though, so you don't get like dash attacked while pulling a turnip. That's something you will learn with experience, right? And then when you do have turnips and Marth is in that range where you can kind of clearly reach him with a turnip, that's when you throw. If he gets hit by a turnip, nice, you got a little bit of damage. If he shields the turnip, then, as we talked about earlier, he can wave dash in, and that's when you want to like do a preemptive float in air, and then hopefully he bounces into the turnip and you get a second aerial. Or if you wave dash back, then the best would be to pull a turnip. But of course, it's kind of a guessing game, so you kind of have to like have a feeling, is the Marth gonna go in or not? Pulling the turnip is pretty risky, but sometimes can be worth it. But yeah, the risk of pulling the turnip is if you wave dash forward and you actually pull a turnip, then you leave yourself very, very open. The important part with that playstyle is to like know the distance. Like, oh, this is like too close, Marth can sneak in a dash attack. That's really important to like learn these timings and spacings. Like, this concept of playstyle for the matchup, I think, can be seen a lot when I play against Mewtwo King, for example. I would say have this explanation of mine in mind and go back and watch like some match with me and Mewtwo King, especially on wider stages, because the playstyle works even better on wide stages since you have more room for the turnips. Another thing also in this matchup, like in bad situations, like if you can't pull the turnip, in bad situations, shield is so crucial for Peach in this matchup. It absolutely is, because like the only thing that truly beats shield is grab. And if Marth is like, you know, swinging his sword, he wants to like keep you away and he's doing his fairs, nairs, whatever, shield is fine. You can often like close the gap by using the shield, wave dash back, reposition a little bit, kind of like slowly but surely work your way in, and then throw in the occasional dash attack maybe. It's much harder for Marth to deal. Like, you gotta be patient with your shield, but your shield is really, really important in this matchup. If it's one matchup where you want Peach's shield a lot, it's this one. This matchup would be unplayable without shield, more so than other matchups. The shield is very underrated by practically every Peach in this matchup. It's like people want to attack, people want to get their openings, people want to combo, but it doesn't really work anywhere near that against Marth. Go back like that as well. Oh. Yeah, already getting stuck on the platform. Yeah, normally like, this is like a silly thing, but when I play in tournaments, I always try to make sure, like, knowing the spawns beforehand, since Peach is so slow and pulling turnip takes time. So knowing the spawn positions and knowing if I have enough time to pull a turnip or not. I think you actually can pull, like, you can pull a turnip here and buffer shield in time, but it's very, very tight. So sometimes you might just want to shield drop and get to the ground first. Yep. Gotta be careful with the forward throw. If you do have diagonal down and away DI, Marth can never get pivot tipper. But you have to like preemptively be ready that you might get grabbed. Yeah, that's a DI on the forward throw again. Diagonally down and away. I know it's hard since you have to do it preemptively. But it's really important to keep in mind. Yeah, this is a prime example of how I think, sadly, Peach players can often lose in this matchup. Like, you guys had very clear distance between you guys. Like, very clear distance between Peach and Marth. And then when Peach is floating here, you don't have, like, super quick access to shield. You obviously can drop float and go into shield. But you can't really contest Marth's hitboxes. His range is too good. If you try to contest Marth here, you are either... How do you say? You're basically hoping that he messes up badly enough where you can get away with it. But a good Marth should never ever get hit by Peach aerial here. And what happens is, yeah, you just get outranged. Even if you timed your move perfectly here, Marth Fair would destroy you. So you should never, like, from very, very far distance like that, truly contest him. It's a losing battle. It's a losing battle. It's so important. It's so important. Yep, that was the chasing aerial part we talked about. And the messed up forward throw DI. Yeah, in this scenario, you might as well throw up the turnip. Like, apply pressure here. If you throw the turnip outwards, or upwards, I mean, it's gonna, you know, bounce a little bit on the shield. Maybe you can catch him wave dash off the top platform to the side and you jump with a preemptive nair, for example. I think here, like, you basically back off. So Peach basically backs off and gives Marth distance to come down for free, uncontested. You had a solid position here. You had a solid position throwing the turnip upwards. It still wasn't a great one because Battlefield's top platform is very high up, but you still had a decent position and you gave it up for free, to be honest. Yeah, I'll say here as well, you back off too much and basically, like, let Marth recover for free. You want to be a bit closer and make it, like, harder for Marth to actually come down. Like, sometimes in these scenarios, people just fall straight to the ledge. Sometimes it can be worth it to sneak in with a dash attack if you think they're not going to throw out an aerial. Otherwise, shield can still be fine. But yeah, staying this far back can often be, like, basically an invitation that, oh, I can just get back to the stage for free. The first portion was good here. I like that backer. But as soon as you get this backer, you gotta be ready to, like, chase him. When you get this backer, you gotta be ready to, like, keep up the pressure, keep up the punish. Sometimes you might not get, like, another, you know, true hit, like a true tech chase, but you might still keep them in a bad position and keep the pressure on. Here, you basically let Marth escape for free. And now you are cornered. As soon as you hit that backer, you gotta be ready. And then, sure, sometimes you might not be close enough to get the true punish. So as soon as you get the hit, you gotta be, like, pretty much, like, preemptively ready that it's gonna hit and then apply the pressure. You can't hesitate. Yeah, that's like such a classic scenario here as well. I wish you capitalized a little bit better on it because you pull a turnip here, right? Which is perfectly fine. That's probably what I would have done as well. And then you have Marth. Marth has actually done this. Marth has actually done this both games on Dreamland and probably the game on Battlefield as well. A very common recovery habit from this Marth is basically jumping and landing with an aerial on the side platform. It's probably at least 10 times this has happened so far. So when he falls with his fair, here will be such a good time for you to, like, jump in and apply pressure. You have the turnip as well. So you can, like, time your jump, throw the turnip. Best case scenario for Marth, he shields your turnip. That's, like, best case scenario. But then you still have huge advantage. Like, a lot in Melee is punish or apply pressure on people's landings. If they land with aerials, that's often when they're very vulnerable. You can see, like, in the Fox Ditto, for example, like, a Fox lands with Nair, left and grabs every time. And he always gets it. Like, it's a very, very common concept. People land with an aerial and they are stuck in lag. like you have L cancel, but it's not like you still have a little bit of lag. So when people land with aerials, that can often be the time to strike. Obviously harder and not as many scenarios you can do it when you play a slower character, because you will have to be closer to even reach in the first place. But this is still like a good scenario of like landing with aerial, and then you can apply pressure. In that scenario, you actually prefer to do down air. The down air is a bit gimmicky, 100%. It's the least bad option you have. In this scenario, you can down air. It's pretty hard to space and time, but you actually can sneak in with down air so you don't get hit by Marth's up B and hit him with a down air. A Marth that is really good against the down air will SDI and you can't get anything from the down air. But a lot of Marth players, they just get hit by the down air into an air. So that's an advice, practicing the down air, the timing. Like, people will only get, like, more and more Marth players will be able to get out of it, but at least you make them work for it. The fair should not hit if they space. Yeah, that was the down air scenario from earlier. Like, if Marth sweet spots, that was actually like a bad up B attempt from the Marth. But in general, like, Marth players are gonna sweet spot, and then sneaking in the downer is better. It is tricky though, but as well, like, with replays, you should be able to, like, learn it without too much effort, I imagine. It's not the worst, but in this scenario, you should try to apply pressure with more nairs or dash attack. So if we go back a little bit again. So you get the turnip, you get the nair. Like, here would be a perfect scenario. This would be a perfect scenario to, like, do a second nair. Even if Marth would manage to get his shield up in time, then you still have advantage on shield, since Peach's float cancel aerials are very good. The grab, sadly, don't really lead to anything. So I would more recommend to, like, keep the pressure with nairs, maybe a dash attack. Dash attack? Down throw dash attack can actually, like, be true for quite a bit, so that can be solid sometimes. Down throw dash attack. It's honestly the best damage you can get from grab most times. Yeah, down throw is better. Down throw is better. Especially, like, in these type of scenarios, if they're pretty close to the ledge as well. The reason why Peach's down throw is bad sometimes, like if you're, like, center stage, for example, I'm talking also against characters where down throw dash attack is not a thing, is that if they DI behind you, the stage interrupts a tech roll away, right? So that's why down throw pretty close to the edge can be pretty good. If they can go off the stage from the down throw, then it's still pretty bad. But if they can't, then it can be pretty good. But down throw is the best throw against Marth, I would say, for sure. Down throw and either tech chase or often down throw dash attack. Tech chases are tricky with Peach since she's so slow. But that's also, like, I really feel like gotta take advantage of all the resources with 20xx and stuff. Setting up save states, I mean, it gotta be some type of, like, tech chase practice tool. I saw, like, they had, like, arms attack practice. They had, like, a lot of different practices. I swear it gotta be, like, some tech chase practice as well. Sometimes it feels like you're not really certain what to do when you get hits. Like, here you get a down smash, and you basically, like, put Marth in the corner with this down smash, right? You are in advantage, and then you, like, dash away and shield. And now basically Marth gets around you. Like, here you just gotta keep applying pressure. Like, and by applying pressure, I don't necessarily mean you have to do one certain thing. I think jabs could have been nice there if Marth tried to jump. It could have been a fast way of trying to interrupt that. If you think he's gonna, like, panic roll in, then you can, like, you know, wave dash back or float back and be ready with an aerial. When you get a hit and put your opponent in disadvantage, you gotta be, like, a well-oiled machine and just, like, no, like, if they roll in, I cover with this move. If they jump, I cover with this move. You basically gotta have, like, all the answers figured out. But I mean, of course, taking inspirations of punishes from, like, me, Triff, Laud, Keisu, other Peaches as well. That could be a good idea. I also think in general, something that could be good as well is that if you watch any of us or any other Peach, could be sometimes when you see us get an opening, let's say I get a dash attack, or let's say I get an up air or whatever, sometimes I think it could be good to pause the video right there and try to ask yourself, what will he do next? I mean, sometimes all the examples might not actually lead to something big, right? But hopefully most of the scenarios, right? And then I think it could be good to basically pause the video, ask yourself, what would I have done? If I was in this exact situation, what would I have done? And then you see one of us and we maybe get like 70, 80 damage, and you might have been wrong. Maybe we did something else that ended up better. And I think applying the same mindset on your own matches, pause the video, and it's like, what should I have done? And then you see what you actually did. Not sure what that spot dodge was. Oh no. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, that's such an early kill. I mean, in general, not only based on that downer, but overall, I feel like you need to work as well on like your spacing against Marth. Like, how far does all of Marth's moves reach? This matchup is a lot about like pixel perfect spacing. I think someone like Triff, for example, can be really good at looking at that. Like, he is super good at like just barely stay outside of the opponent's hitbox. And that's incredibly important when you have a character with as much range as Marth. Like, because like if you have like spacing of that caliber, you often have your opponent actually believing that they are gonna land their move, but they just barely whiff. Yep, you gotta be careful. That's like the second or third downer now. I also feel like a lot when you do pull a turnip, for example, and you're put in a bad situation, you resort to full defense in those scenarios. So like a lot of times, if you're making it look like I'm shielding and I'm gonna keep shielding, that's often when you want to move out of shield. If it's basically like you telling your opponent, I'm shielding, I will keep shielding, then they are going to be like, oh, I should just grab. But that's when you throw out an aerial instead. A lot of people in panic situations resort to like standing in shield. A lot of people resort to always rolling. A lot of people have like one set thing they do in these type of scenarios. And I mean, we haven't seen that much of your gameplay so far, but maybe standing in shield might be yours. Yeah, getting too scared in shield when in disadvantage, it's a very common thing. So I mean, I don't blame you for it. I'm just trying to let you know that that's like good times to strike sometimes with attacks. Yeah, that back air was pretty good. Like this one, you made it look like you were gonna run away, and then you come kind of back at him with that backer to beat him out. Those type of aerials, I would like to see more. Not spam them, because they do become better when it's like uncertain. Is he gonna attack or is he gonna retreat? So here, you run away, you make it look like, oh, I'm gonna like run away from him. Maybe I will resort to like a panic shield because I get afraid. And then you just like throw out a move in his face. Those type of baits is key in this matchup. Making it look like you're doing something, but then you do the opposite. In those type of scenarios as well, coming up here, dash attacks can often be good. Grounded moves can often be very good from people coming airborne. So something like Peach dash attack, Sheik dash attack can often be very good to like kind of like try to sneak underneath the fair. Because as you can see, like the fair is like working its way down. So you can often like sneak in a dash attack underneath. Like if you want to contest Marth, that tends to be a better idea than doing it with an aerial. That could also maybe again like be an okay dash attack scenario when he falls down with fair. You can often win those situations, like sneaking underneath with dash attack. Yeah, also like when it comes to like coming down against Marth, this is really, really tough. This is, sometimes it feels impossible to get down, but one thing you can try to keep in mind is basically position yourself kinda close to platforms where it makes it hard for Marth to tell like if you're gonna land on the top platform, trying to aim for a side platform, or maybe like even in between all of it. This is like a very important scenario here, like pulling the turnip and barely not having enough time and getting punished for it. Actually, no, actually you barely could have. But I mean, if you're forced to spot dodge with Peach, even that is like a very bad scenario. I guess roll would have been the best. Yeah, Peach's spot dodge is pretty shit, honestly. Like one little advice for pulling turnips can be sometimes if you have Marth dashing towards you and you don't think he's gonna approach right away, then pulling a turnip then can be the best because they often resort to dashing back, which means that it takes longer time for them to get back in at you. So that can be pretty good sometimes as well. But of course, there is a risk that they actually do approach on the initial dash in. But it's something to keep in mind. Kind of the same thing in tech chase scenarios when like, if someone dash dance while they tech chase you, then rolling away as they probably dash away from you, you get out for free. Yeah, I guess Marth's combos as well, like kind of like the same as like his forward throw. DI diagonally down and away is traditionally the best for his combos. If you do, it's very rare to get down aired. I mean, it happens. I also got Ken comboed sometimes, but it should not happen often if you hold diagonally down and away. And I mean, due to Peach's horizontal recovery being so good, you don't have to like worry about making it back to the stage like that. The one time you need to be careful is if an F smash might come out, because you don't want to eat like a tipper F smash and you die at like 40. Yeah. Gotta be careful with like cornering yourself too. Like so much of fighting games is like keeping stage control. Someone like PPMD, for example, like he made a career out of maintaining more stage than his opponent, because the more stage you have, the more room you have to work with, and you basically give yourself more options. You can fight more on your own terms. If you're stuck in the corner, you don't have anywhere to run, and Peach at the ledge is so bad. She's honestly atrocious at the ledge, so you can't even resort to like the Mutaking of like hanging on the ledge. So it's like, sure, you will be put there eventually, but you really gotta make sure your opponent, you know, earns the fact that you end up in the corner. I mean, sometimes like you have to retreat, pulling turnips and stuff, but you still want to have like I think this platform, like where this platform starts, this could be like a good indicator. You don't really want to ever go further back than that unless necessary. I mean, I didn't really have a set rule like that, but just to give you an idea, you want to have like at least like a dash, a full dash back distance available. One thing that can be nice in those type of scenarios when you have someone on shield is the double jump land into grab. Like instead of doing that nair can be nice sometimes. But double jump land is really quick, and you can do grab afterwards. And a lot of people, they kind of preemptively wait for an aerial to shield drop. So double jump land into grab can be nice. One thing that I truly feel like is underrated that no one is using is to jump up waveland, push your opponent off the platform, and then do a move. I mean, sometimes if you have a Falco on a platform, they push off with a normal dash and shine, right? Falco's punish game is like very platform orientated, but I never see people like waveland up to the platform, push off. With Peach, you could actually do down smash, and if the opponent has low damage, you can get like 50-60 damage. It's like absurd. With Fox, you could like waveland up and then push them off, up smash to it for a kill. I actually did finish, not on the platform, but by the end of the stage, I actually did finish. It was like the last stock at Smash and Splash when me and Android played against PewFat. Yeah, it was like the Smash and Splash where we won. It was like right side of battlefield, and I like push Pew Pew off and get stop smash. But that was more from a dash. That was from a dash, I think. I don't think it's a way dash forward. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, that can be mix-ups. Instead of the nair, jump aerial is normally better if they're not going to be able to like shield in time. If they're going to be able to shield in time, then normally better to double jump land into grab, or maybe even wave dash, push them off to like a down smash or something. Yeah, I mean, this is like only like a very small detail, but I will point it out anyway. Like there, when Marth fairs a turnip, it's a very, very high likelihood. Like if he doesn't retreat immediately, it's a very high chance he's getting hit by this turnip, because the turnip hitbox is still active until it actually like hits like a person or like a character. So this can be a good time to like strike. An experienced Peach player in this scenario would fairly likely have been ready that this might happen and then try to like punish afterwards. This happened with like if they hit with an aerial, like if they hit a turnip with the aerial, the hitbox for the turnip will still be active. If it hits a shield, it still will be active, and so on. Tech chases, yeah, tech chases are tricky with Peach since she's so slow. But that's also like, I really feel like gotta take advantage of all the resources with 20xx and stuff. Like setting up save states. I mean, it gotta be some type of like tech chase practice tool. I saw like they had like arms attack practice. They had like a lot of different practices. I swear it gotta be like some tech chase practice as well. And the thing is also like even if it wasn't in friendlies, you should take that as a learning experience. I think one thing that holds people back is that they, in friendlies, play too much to win. If you lose 90% of your friendlies, but you increase your tournament wins by, let's say, 5 or 10%, then that's better. Sure, you lost more matches in total, but you won more important matches. Like, it's a little bit like tennis, right? It doesn't even matter if you lose the most amount of points. You can sometimes lose more points than your opponent, but you still win the game, because you won the more important points. That's kind of how I look at it. I feel like sometimes people just don't really think about progression and like improving. But sometimes I feel like people tunnel vision too much on winning friendlies. Sometimes I think it's good to have like play to win sessions in friendlies. Really try your hardest and really just try to win. But I don't think all friendlies sessions should be like that. It should be more play to learn. So if you practice, let's say your tech chases in friendlies and you get tech in place shine 100 times in a row. I mean, something like tech chasing, it is fairly like set answers. You do this, but it's hard to react to, right? But the more you practice it, the better your brain will be at like recognizing the different tech outcomes, if you want to put it that way. I feel like we went over a lot of things. Of course, a lot of things were also like repeated many times, but I often do that to like more really show clearly when I try to teach that this is not like a 1 or 2 time thing. This is like huge flaws that needs to be worked on. But yeah, I would say to recap a little bit, in terms of like movement and execution, I think, yeah, save states would be absolutely amazing for you. Work on your out of shield game, for example. In terms of punishes, looking at like top Peach players, see what they do, try to replicate. Smaller stuff like Marth's forward throw, you gotta hold down and away. Yeah, down and away, because there was way too many F smashes for Marth. Your gameplay against Marth, much more turnips. We actually have the Peach Marth guide I wrote back in 2014. I would still say is very, very useful even today. Yeah, I highly recommend checking it out. Well, it has like some video examples as well. Let's go. I just gotta hope.
That is
Diggins, what was that?
Oh! I did every single kill that match.